Hi everyone, it's Teresa here from Warragul in Australia, and I'm happy to say I have my sister down from Castlemaine. This is Brenda
everybody.
So tonight we're going to actually make a little card together. Together. So we're going to do a little card together. So we're going to be using our mix and match again. So we're going to be using 2 stamp sets that you can mix and match. So what are the stamp sets, Brenda?
So Sentimental and Painted Poppies. So Sentimental, that one.
Yep, beautiful.
And Painted Poppies. There we go.
Okay,
Yep,
so I'm going to actually bring the camera down so we can get started. So let's move them to the side. So we'll just, sorry about my hand everyone. Okay, so we're going to be working down here. So the first thing we're going to do is give you the measurements for the card. So our card is going to be, our base card is Whisper White. And I like to use the 21 centimetres because that is the whole length of an A4, the width of the A4, I mean, not the length, the width. And we cut it off, well, I've cut this one off at 14. I think this was a bit of a scrap that I had. So if you want to do 15 centimetres, that's fine. That brings it up just that little bit more, but because sometimes I have a bit of a scrap, I will use that. So we're going to actually mat that with our basic black, and I'll give you the measurements to the basic black, and that is 13.5 centimetres by 10. And then we're going to use some of this beautiful poppy paper. This is absolutely gorgeous. It's in our mini catalogue at the moment, so if you I'm going to put the link on later to my shop, so if you haven't got a catalogue and you want to take a look, you can jump onto my shop and there's a catalogue on there that you can download, or you can just have a look on the shop itself. So this size is 13 centimetres by 9.5. And as you can tell, these are all going to mat into one another. Okay, so let's pop these together to start off with. I'm using the liquid glue, but you can use snail if you prefer to use snail. You can use your snail, but I'm just going to use some of my liquid glue here. And I'm going to put the basic black on. And it's very, very simple. I'll give you a little tip. With the glue, with my ribbon, I just set it in there so it's always upside down.
Brilliant.
And that's a great little tip because it's always going to flow nice and even. So we're just going to pop this onto the card. And then we're going to use our designer series paper, which is the poppy one. So you can use either side. You could use the green, which is really beautiful as well, the stripes, or you can use the flower side, which we are going to use today. Okay. With our glues, we have a thin end and a thick end. A lot of people don't realise that we have 2 ends, and I just threw the cap on the ground. Just flick it outside. And yeah, so we've got 2 ends to the glue. So I'm just going to pop that back on here. And you can use either end. I like to use the narrower end because I don't like too much glue coming out at once. So just pop it on. Okay. And make sure we've got it up the way we want it, and then just place this onto the card. Now before we start doing anything more on the card, we're going to actually stamp out some poppies, and we're actually using the row of poppies this time, this one up here. It's just the row of poppies. It's absolutely gorgeous, and we're going to actually use the Stamparatus because I want to share some tips with Brenda today. So Brenda's also a Stampin' Up demonstrator. She's one of my team members, and we like to do a bit of training while we're together as well. So we'll make this into 2. If you do not have a Stamparatus, you will need to order blocks. So you can use your blocks. But if you've got a Stamparatus, you can use it for virtually anything, and you don't need to have blocks, but it's handy to have blocks if you want to. Okay, so what we're going to do, Brenda, is we're going to use the snail, and we're going to use our silicone mat. And the reason why we're going to do this is because it will stick on here. Okay, so we're just going to add a couple bits of snail on the back of that.
Yep.
And we're just going to place this down onto the silicone mat. Now the good thing about that is it won't move.
beautiful.
Okay, I put the magnet usually onto the silicone mat.
Okay.
Okay, and you can put one down there too if you wanted to, but my magnet broke. Then I actually line up my stamp set to my cardstock. Now you've got a little bit of a layer down here. You can sort of see you've got a bit of an edge to the stamp set down the bottom here. So we're just going to bring it off, a little bit off the paper. Can you see that that's off the paper a little bit? So we've got the stems
so the stem sets, yeah.
Yeah. So then you just close that.
Oh, nice.
And open it. And I'm just going to put the block under there because it just holds a bit of support.
That's a great.
Okay, or you can use an ink pad. Okay, and then the Memento ink. Okay, so we're just going to do this. Oh, we're doing this wrong. Brenda didn't pull me over.
My Brenda doesn't know what we're doing.
We're doing markers.
Oh, we're doing.
I did tell you that we're doing markers.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought you're telling the story. I thought we were going to use the markers to colour in the
no
things.
No.
Oh, okay.
We're actually doing markers.
Markers on the stamps.
And I'm actually letting Brenda do this bit of technique.
Oh, now I find out.
Okay, so I'm just going to take the plate off because it's easier to work with it on the table. Okay. Now, when you use your markers, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that.
When you use your markers, you use the end, the flat end. Okay, so you might want to turn it around to work. So I'll just do a couple and then you can.
Okay.
Okay, so with the markers, just use the edge.
Yep.
Okay, and just colour them in.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if you go over the stem a little bit because you're going to come across with the green.
Okay.
Okay, so just bring these in. So I'll let you do that.
Okay, so I'm doing the poppy flowers in rich razzleberry.
Yep.
And then I'm going to do the stems in garden green.
That's correct. So
okay, it's very quick really. I love this technique.
It is quick and it's so easy doing it on the Stamparatus because you've got your stamp already lined up.
Yep,
you've got your paper already lined up, and once you put your hinges back in, it's still lined up. So it's a really nice way of doing it. So if you haven't got a Stamparatus, that's in our main catalogue, and you can get so many accessories to go with it. You can actually get the grid paper to go with it. You can get extra plates to go with it. You can buy new magnets, which I have to do because I did drop mine. And you have to be really careful with the magnets because they do clunk together. And when they clunk together, they're very, 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 very hard to pull apart.
Okay,
and that's how I broke mine. Okay, that's good. Now the garden green.
Where's the lid?
You've got
the lid? Yep. Okay. It's pretty much just straight stems.
It is pretty much straight stems, but it's just a quick card. If you're in a hurry for a beautiful card, and it could be a sympathy card, it could be a birthday card, especially for a lady or a girlfriend, a friend, or a daughter, a grandmother, this card would be brilliant for, don't you think, Brim?
I totally agree. Sorry, totally concentrating on stems.
I can talk and ink at the same time, but some people can't. They have to hold their tongue the right way. So I've been told.
Am I holding my tongue?
I don't know.
Okay.
Doing
nearly
good.
Nearly there.
That's okay.
So do you huff on this like we usually do?
You do. But once we've put it into the hinge.
Okay.
Okay.
Haven't huffed for a while.
You haven't huffed for a while? No. Well, you haven't used your markers for a while.
No, I haven't. Not for this.
Okay, so what Brenda's talking about is huffing on to bring the ink back to the top of the stamp. So huff away.
There we go.
Okay, and then you can close it down.
Oh, I'm closing it. Okay.
It's more in front of you.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
just
do you
make
press?
sure you press? Yep.
Yep.
Just make sure you press it down.
Press.
And the good thing about the Stamparatus, if you don't get it where you exactly want the first time around, you can go back over that little flowers a couple more times if you want to. So you can just do. We've got to remember it goes that way, it's on this side.
It's on that side. So there's one flower I've totally missed a little bit of, I think.
Yeah, just that one there, which is this one here, I'd say, Bren.
No, I'm looking at this one down here.
Oh yeah, it's all
okay, you're looking at that one as well. Okay.
So you can just go back over it again a second time, and how cool is that? Not with a block, you can't do that.
No,
with a block, once you come down with your block, if it doesn't work out, you can't re-ink it and redo it. But With the Stamparatus, you can actually come over it several times if you need to, because it won't come out of place unless you move it out of place.
Okay, and I'm just going to do a little bit of stem just for a re-ink, just around there. It just seems to be a little bit. So
Okay.
I think that should be right.
Okay, so we're just going to close it down again and then come down onto it.
Let me see, did I? Yes, I did.
Beautiful.
Oh, see, there's still one there was missing.
That's
a
all
petal.
right. That's pretty close enough for
pretty
first
close.
time. You've done well.
Thank you.
Then don't forget to use your, look at my dirty chamois, but don't forget to use your chamois to clean your stamp. I keep mine in one of these containers, and you can buy these in a set of 4, so they're really brilliant to keep your diamantes in. They're good to keep your rhinestones in, your pearls, your markers, anything like that. They're really good to keep all those things in, so they won't go to waste. Okay, so the other stamp set we're using is over your side, Brenda. What are we using there? Excuse me, can I have that?
This So Sentimental.
Okay, so
What you're talking
and grab
about.
your words out that you want.
Okay. So do you want big words? Is that your friendship is a blessing?
Yep.
Yep. Which looks like it might be that one.
And this time we're using the Memento Black.
Okay, so that's what the Memento Black's for. There
Yep.
you go, you knew.
So when you're actually doing this, once again, you place it on to where you want it, which I really love. Always make sure that your stamp's clean though. Like if you've had grandchildren around, check your stamps, because I had my grandsons around doing the dinosaur ones the other day, and you do need to check your stamps after. So just press down, and then we come back with the
Ink up.
the Memento ink.
Okay,
Very easy.
cool.
So we're just going to ink this up. Make sure that you've got everything, but like I said, if you haven't, you can do it again. And then we're just going to come down.
Beautiful. Yep, that looks good.
You happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something there looks like a bit of cotton or something on the stamp.
It was probably on the stamp. That's
Doesn't
okay.
matter. That's all right.
Anyhow, we will take that off now. So I just take the silicone mat off.
I'll stick a Dementi on it.
We can do that too. We can. We've got a little bit of a thread or something on the word. That's what Brenda's talking about. Just I don't know how that happened. I did wash the stamp earlier, so I thought it would be clean. I can go back in the stamp. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we're going to actually nail that onto our basic black. Now I'll just give you the measurements to these two, because I didn't give you the measurements to these cards before. So this one's 10.5 by 7.5. And the basic black is 11 by 8. And this is just going to mat into here. But even though I've put a little bit of snail on it, I'm still going to actually add a little bit of glue on it, just because I like it to stick. And there's not a lot of snail on there, so.
Now liquid glue's a little bit cheaper.
It is, yes, and especially if you're doing a lot of cards.
Yep.
Yeah, I think my blade's getting a bit blunt in my paper trimmer. The black paper seems to be a little bit fraying.
Feathered.
Yep, just a little bit.
That's all right.
Okay, so this is really good. So we're going to actually tie, or Brenda can tie this around. So she's going to make a bow, or she can do a knot, whatever you like.
Right, well, I might turn it around.
I like doing a little bow. Sometimes if I'm doing a class, I'll do a knot for the simple reason some of the
Looks just
ladies
as pretty.
find it very hard to do a bow, and sometimes I can end up doing 15 bows. So to save a little bit of time when we're in class, I sometimes just do a knot. But that's your choice too. I mean, I don't mind helping people out, but sometimes we're on a time barrier when...
Mine doesn't want to sit straight. That's okay. Can always use a glue dot to hold it, so I'll just tweak it down a little bit. And you might have to do something to just hold it in place there. I have no idea. I've not practiced. Here we go.
That's all right. Just
Yeah, it's sitting over the words, so not sitting the way it should, but that's all right.
bring
It's
it
an
down.
upside down bow. Yeah, bring it down a bit
You
more.
can bring it down a little bit if you
Yeah,
want to before you
without
stick it
going
on.
over the
And once
poppies.
you've stuck it on, you can actually tie it again.
Yep.
You know,
can
because
too.
you're only sticking the back. So we'll
Okay.
just stick it on, and then you can have another go at your bow. It's still gorgeous. But yeah, once you've got it on there, you can do it again. So you can stick this on this time.
So,
And it just comes onto the front of the card.
I see.
Always make sure you put a little bit of glue along your ribbon,
Yep.
so it doesn't move. If you want to,
And under there, just under as well.
no, don't put it under. I just put it on top
Oh, okay.
because it's going to stick on here.
All right then.
So
Okay.
show the people what you're doing.
Okay, I will.
Okay,
First time on my L's. There we go.
Brenda is on her hours.
I
She's doing a good
am.
job.
There we go.
You can put it on.
Oh, I'm putting it on.
You get to keep this card.
I get to keep it.
Yep.
Warts and all. Okay.
Okay, so
it
you can
looks
have
pretty even. Just pop
Okay,
that
down you
there.
go.
Yep.
Now the other thing that I like to do is I like to put a centre into my card. It just, if you want to stamp something, you can. If you want to stamp
Oh,
a
yeah, stick
sentiment
that
in
in
it, you
there.
can. So I'll give you the measurements for these. The basic black one is 13.5 by 10, and the Whisper White is 13 by 9.5. Yes, you can stick them together, Brenda, and then you can stick them on the inside.
Okay. I'll do it. Oh, you want to say-
Oh, did I cut through something?
You did.
Oh my God. Do you know you can do that too?
What's that?
If you stamp something wrong, you can use the other side of the paper. But
Yes.
that wasn't. I actually had probably stamped that out to do a punch around and didn't realise I'd cut the same paper up.
There we go. That's all right. No biggie.
That goes on top of that.
Yep. I'll probably put a little bit too much up the top there. That's all right too.
Yep, you only need a little bit of glue.
You do. Oh, a bit heavy-handed there. Not quite sure how big your border is, so
It's just the 0.5.
yeah, that looks about right. Oops, just slide it over a bit. What I
The
like.
good thing about the
Liquid glue,
liquid glue is that you can move it around a little bit as well.
You haven't pressed it all
with
down.
the snail, you can't. Once it's down, it's down.
It's down, and then
Yep,
same.
and then same. You won't
Okay.
need quite as much.
Not as much, I know.
And I don't go quite to the edge when I'm doing the glue
No,
because
just
then
in-
if it wants to spread,
gonna
it can spread out, and that's a good thing too. Otherwise, it comes out through the edges, and we don't want it coming out through
Looks messy.
the edges. So very good.
Okay.
Okay, so pop that in there, and then I don't actually stamp a sentiment at the time because on the inside until I might need to use the card, because sometimes even though we've got your friendship is a blessing, you might want to put happy birthday, but you might want to use it as an anniversary card, or you might want to use it as a get well card or a sympathy card. So I usually hold off with my centre sentiment until the time I'm going to use it.
Okay.
Okay, how are you going now?
Here we done.
Okay, so we're going to bring this back up. Okay, so how did that feel?
Pretty good.
Pretty good?
Pretty good.
So this is the card I made earlier, and this is Brenda's card. She's done a good job. So
With the crooked bow.
that's all right, you can tie the bow again. So as you can see, it's not really hard
No.
to make a really pretty card, and I'll just share with you a couple of other cards. So I'm going to share with you
I'm going to play with the bow.
one that we're going to do on live Facebook later. So we do YouTube, but we also do live Facebook. So this is another poppy one, but we'll do this one on the live Facebook. So until next time,
We'll see you again.
we'll see you again.
Bye. Thanks
Bye.
for stopping by.